Joining me tonight, Congressman Matt Gaetz. He serves on a number of committees, including Judiciary, Budget, and Armed Services. Congressman, great to see you. This has been an incredible week. Let's start with the most recent development, and that is the referral by Chuck Grassley, Senator Grassley, the chair of the Judiciary Committee, and Lindsey Graham for criminal investigation by the Justice Department. Your reaction?
Bravo to Senators Grassley and Graham for highlighting the real crimes by the real criminals in this case. The only evidence we have of collusion with the Russian Federation is the evidence that the Democratic National Committee paid the Fusion GPS company to go pay Russians to tell lies about the duly elected president of the United States. And it is about darn time we made that the central focus of our collusion inquiries. And I'm glad to see that Senators Grassley and Graham understand the importance of the collusion between Russians and Democrats, and that we're able to root that out in the future, Lou.
And the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman, on which you sit, why isn't there a turn there as well? Devin Nunes, in my judgment, is a hero because he is the only one in his committee to produce evidence here of the, first of all, is exculpatory of the president and his administration and his transition team in any of the nonsense about collusion, but is also driving knowledge about what really was going on here. And I think at this stage, it is a straightforward, obvious attempt to subvert the President of the United States, duly elected, even before he got to the Oval Office.
Well, you're absolutely right. It's like the deep state all got together to try to orchestrate a palace coup over our president, and Chairman Devin Nunes has been a leading fighter for democracy and the rule of law. Without Devin Nunes, we would not know about the text messages between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page where they reference an insurance policy to save the American people from their own votes. In the House Judiciary Committee, I'm also proud of our work. We had an interview of Andrew McCabe under oath, sworn testimony, and within hours of him giving that testimony, he announced his retirement. I think one of the reasons may be the inconsistencies in his very testimony, and so we've got a series of investigations closing in on Hillary Clinton like a noose.
You know, Congressman, this has to frustrate you as much as it does any one of us in this country right now, concerned citizens. We have some people running the FBI and the Department of Justice who frankly look like they're the ones who should be behind bars. And we hear about people retiring suddenly, and by March, in the case of McCabe, others are being reassigned, but no one is being told you're fired, you're losing your benefits, taxpayer-funded benefits, and by the way, we're also going to send you to jail. This is disgusting conduct. I mean, and by the way, part of my disgust in all of this is that it goes on and on, the investigations, whether they're in House or Senate committees, whether the investigation is from the FBI, which is obviously at the top rancid with corruption, or the Department of Justice, where the former president and an attorney general decide an investigation is really a matter, and the FBI director at the time, James Comey, says, yes, ma'am, it is now a matter, and she was very pleased, I'm sure, at the quick response of the highly principled James Comey. But the rest of the country is sick to their guts that this is our government.
Well, you're absolutely right. And the key difference about the way investigations were conducted in the past and the way they appear to be conducted currently is that in the past, you had James Comey and a group of people who were doing Hillary Clinton's bidding, drawing the investigation away from the local field offices so that they could pre-bake the outcome and clear Hillary Clinton of wrongdoing, even though there really was wrongdoing. In this case, you've got the Little Rock field office actually doing the investigative work, working up the case, and that is a key distinction that should give us trust.
Yeah, and you're right to highlight that, and we should give great credit to the U.S. Attorney, to the FBI in Little Rock for taking that field office, taking on the issue that should have been under investigation from the moment that the issue was raised. Instead, we had top officials in Washington, all part of the D.C. swamp. You know, people talk about the swamp in that town, Congressman, but to see how pervasive the corruption is and the conspiracy against this government and the subversion of this president, it's overwhelming.
And we can't live in a swamp where the biggest alligator is the Department of Justice or the FBI. We've got to ensure that the government works for us and works for democracy and the rule of law. Here you had people literally plotting and planning in the event that Donald Trump were elected president to undermine and disrupt his presidency, and that's why this criminal referral regarding the Fusion GPS dossier is so important.
We have to go, but I mean, I'm going to leave this with a question, and we can answer it over the weeks to come. But why in the world, if there was such concern about Russian meddling in our election, why is it that the President of the United States at the time, that is President Obama, didn't demand access to those DNC servers, didn't demand a response from Vladimir Putin and the Russians? And why wasn't he talking to the American people about what had him, ostensibly at least, upset at Vladimir Putin's interference? It smells to high heaven from every quarter, and there are a lot of questions still to be answered. Are we going to get to resolution in this new year, Congressman, as we wrap it up?
Well, we absolutely have to. And when you look at the magnitude of the allegations against Hillary Clinton, right now, we don't have a circumstance where we'll have people at the highest levels of our government clearing the way for her if we are vigilant as a Congress in our oversight. That's why it's so important, the work we're doing, to make sure that we have an equal standard of justice that applies to everyone the same way, Lou.
Congressman Matt Gaetz, as always, thanks for being with us, and keep up the good work. We're coming right back with much, much more.